What type of demon will we be facing in the Conjuring Last Rites? Let's find out. Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. In this video, there is going to be spoilers for the Conjuring Last Rites. I'm not saying what I'm about to say is definitely going to happen in the movie, but if you want to go into the movie blind and know nothing about it, then I would suggest avoiding this video because a lot of the things I'm going to talk about today will most likely happen in the movie. One thing I didn't even think of is I done a video on the Last Rites trailer and I didn't think about this, but a lot of people in the comment section were saying, I don't want to see it because it's fake. And I'm like, that's not really a good explanation as to why you don't want to see it. However, I get your point because a lot of people want to watch these movies and hope that what they're seeing is what actually happened. And 99 times out of 100, that's not the case because, believe it or not, ghosts and demons and things aren't really real, to be honest. I don't really want to get into that because that might be touching on things that some people consider real, etc. But when you look at movies like The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2, I'm taking The Conjuring 2 as an example. That is a confirmed hoax. I'm from the UK. We followed this case for a number of years before it was made into the movie. And we know that it's a hoax. We know the little girl Janet is lying. She's faking it. She's basically having a laugh with her family. And they took it too far to the point where they couldn't return. They couldn't then say, oh, it was just a joke. So they had to continue on with it and it was a circus. So we know that these movies are not real, but it's not really a good indication as to whether you should hate the movie or not because The Conjuring 2 is fantastic. I know it's fake. I know it's a hoax, but I still enjoy the movie. So when you look at The Conjuring Last Rites, of course it's not real, but I wouldn't say I don't want to see it because I know the real story is a hoax. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know in the comments section if that puts you off watching movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's based on a true story or loosely based on a true story, but you know that it's not real. Does that mean you don't want to watch it? No. But moving forward, in this video, we're going to discuss the demon, what it looks like or what it might look like in the movie, and the sorts of things that happened to the Smurl family through the haunting. The family moved into the home in 1973 and they claimed that the strange happenings began in 1974 right up into 1989. Even when they moved house, when they went camping, etc., it followed them everywhere. But it started happening in 1974. It wasn't reported until 1986 as far as we can see, but they suggest that it started happening in 1974. But the things that started out for the family were things like items being moved, items maybe disappearing and it reappearing in certain places, like their tools went missing. There was even parts of the house that when Jack was painting the wall, it would come back to the wall after it dried in, and then it's almost like it was never painted. Maybe just gave it one small coat, I don't know, but that sort of thing was happening around the house. Things that could be explained, but they just kind of left them. It started to get a little bit worse when maybe light fittings would fall from the ceiling even though they were fitted perfectly, and toasters going on fire. Again, things that you think might be explainable, but things that they left until they decided there's something else going on here. After that, we start to get a little bit more kinky. When Jack and Janet are in bed, one or the other of them started feeling touches in their bed and they thought it was one another and they kind of left it until one time Janet woke up and as she was feeling what was on her leg, she looked down and she could actually see the indents of what looks like a hand on her leg, and then that's when she got a fright, and then both of them agreed that they felt those types of touches throughout the night before. Finally, this entity started to reveal itself to the family, and what looked to be dark mass. So it didn't have a physical form. They couldn't see what it looked like. It was only this kind of dark mass, this dark black cloud that would appear in the rooms and it would go through walls, etc. That's the only thing that they could explain what they could see. Now, when it comes to what it's going to look like in the movie, I hope it still looks like that dark mass, but I think what they're going to do is, because we have never seen this dark mass in physical form because the family never explained what it looked like, then I think the makers of The Conjuring have free reign. They can say, well, it was a dark mass, but what we're going to do is we're going to give it a physical form now. Next up on the things that happened within the family home, this is something that might not happen in the movie, but it happened to Jack Smurl as he claimed. He claimed he was molested by this demon, but it made itself into a physical form of his daughter in a dress. Now, we did see a snippet of the daughter in a dress in the movie, The Last Rites, but I don't know to what extent that scene is and if we'll see that happen to Jack in the movie, because it is a touchy subject. But Jack did claim to have been molested by one of the demons in the house. Another one that they claim that we have seen in other movies in the past, but I think this might be effective in a Conjuring movie, is the demons mimic the family's voices. So if, say, Janet's mother shouted her like she did in The Haunted from 1991.
Mom!
Wait!
Janet?
Wait!
I'm in the kitchen!
She'll say like, Janet, and she's like, I'm in here, Mom. Those are the sorts of things that scare me for some reason because it sounds so real and it's very effective without the need for practical effects and CGI. It's just voiceover work. So if you can get that right, then I think that's going to be quite haunting. And finally, we will probably get an exorcism in The Conjuring Last Rites. Now, they're probably going to amp it up like they did in the first Conjuring movie with the parent family. But in real life, in the Smurl house, they exorcised the house itself. I think they've done it 3 times. They exorcised the house, not one person or not one demon. They felt like there was so many demons in the house that it was the house itself that needed to have an exorcism. They could do that in the movie, but if they want to be really dramatic, they're probably going to choose one of the daughters to have the demon inside of her. Probably the oldest daughter, or maybe even the youngest daughter, I don't know. But I think I saw a snippet in the trailer where we saw one of the daughters that was possessed. So I think that if they're going to do an exorcism, it won't be of the house, it will be of this daughter. But going back to the look of the demon in this film, the demon doesn't have a name in real life. The Smurl family didn't give it a name. Don't know why they didn't think of a name, but they didn't have a name for this demon. They didn't have a face to go with the name, to go with the matter that they saw. All they saw was this dark matter, the dark mass, like I mentioned. So again, that gives the Conjuring producers free reign and doing what they want. They could bring back old demons to mimic the demon in this, like Valak or Annabelle, anyone that they want. They could create a new demon, and I did see some new faces in the trailer, so maybe they'll use some of these faces as the face of this new demon. But ultimately, I would love for them to go back to basics and just give us the dark mass like they showed us in the Haunted in 1991. If they give us something like this, I think it feels more realistic for some reason, even though it doesn't look human. It seems like in the Conjuring universe, not just the Conjuring movies, they want to give us this physical form so that the audience can connect to this physical form. But I feel like, yes, they're okay and they can be effective, but I feel like the physical forms that they've been given us lately don't seem realistic enough, like the crooked man or even the face in this trailer. It doesn't look like a real person. Give us someone that looks real and ghost-like, or just give us the dark mass. I think that is scarier. So that is the sorts of things that you're going to expect in The Conjuring Last Rites, if they're going to go by what the Smurls say happened, and if we go by what we saw in The Haunted from 1991. If they change it up, then things could be completely different. But I think they will change things for the movie. But I think the things that happened to them that we saw snippets of in the trailer and what they reported, I think that's what we're going to see in the movie. So look forward to some of the things that I mentioned there. In terms of the demon itself presenting itself, then I think we're going to get physical forms. However, I would like to see that dark mass. It is funny that just with a lot of movies out there, The Exorcist, for example, came out in 1973. After The Exorcist came out in 1973, we got a whole slew of people reporting their family members being possessed by some sort of demon or the devil, and then we got a lot of reports of it. Even with Janet from The Conjuring 2, she was reportedly possessed by some sort of demon. She probably just watched The Exorcist and then it became that big hoax. And it's the same with the Smurl family. They didn't report anything, or we didn't see anything reported until 1986. And that's a few years after movies like The Amityville Horror came out and Poltergeist came out. The families probably watched these movies and go, that's quite interesting, let's do something like that and make it a whole scene. And that's probably what happened with the Smurl family. Again, that's quite a touchy subject for some people, but let's be realistic here, guys. It's mostly going to be a hoax, just like all the other cases. And we know that Ed and Lorraine Warren were frauds. But again, for movie purposes, that's why I'm excited for these movies, especially the Smurl Haunting. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? If you didn't know anything about it and you stuck to the end of the video, do some of these things sound interesting? Are you looking forward to seeing how some of these things manifest themselves in the movie? As always, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?